welcome to the news tonight. Your one stop for the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and here are the headlines. Stone pelting protests resume across South Kashmir after security forces killed Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Sabzar Ahmed. Government shuts internet and mobile services to control mobs across 50 locations. A terror alert is issued in Delhi and Mumbai. Intelligence agencies claim a group of 20 to 21 Lashkar operatives may have entered India. Alert also sounded in border states of Punjab and Haryana. Prime Minister Modi and his Mauritian counterpart agree to step up vigil against conventional and non-conventional threats in the Indian Ocean. India also extends $500 million assistance to Mauritius. BJP will consult opposition parties before deciding on the name for presidential candidate, but there's no clarity on whether BJP will build that consensus on a name. And the death toll in Sri Lanka as flood crosses 100 while over 90 go missing. India rushes in naval ships with relief material. Our top story this evening, Sabzar Ahmed Bhatt, the terrorist who succeeded Burhan Wani in Hizbul Mujahideen, was among 10 terrorists who were killed in separate encounters in Jammu and Kashmir on Saturday. While 2 of the terrorists were killed in Pulwama district's Tral area, 6 others were killed as the army foiled an infiltration bid in Baramulla district.
Top Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Sabzar Ahmed Bhatt was on Saturday killed in an encounter with security forces in the Tral area of Pulwama district in Jammu and Kashmir. Bhatt was believed to be the successor of slain terrorist Burhan Wani, who was killed last year. 1 more terrorist was killed in the gun battle that broke out on Friday evening, following information about the presence of Hizbul terrorists in the area. The operation was a coordinated effort of the army, the Jammu and Kashmir police and the CRPF.
अंदर 2 से 3 मिलिटेंट की हमें इनपुट मिली थी, उसके आधार पर हमने कोऑर्डिनेट किया है.
Soon after the killings, however, clashes erupted at around 50 places, including Tral in Pulwama and Khanabal in Anantnag in South Kashmir. Several areas in the state have been shut down to prevent clashes in the wake of Bhatt's killing. 1 person was also injured in the protest. Mobile and other telecommunication services have also been snapped in Tral and adjoining areas. In another operation, the army foiled a major infiltration bid along the line of control in Rampur sector of Baramulla district, killing 6 terrorists.
Our intention was to get the entire group without leaving anyone. In the same breath, towards the last light, when they intruded to the Indian side of line of control, we engaged them, and the operation lasted for some time, and we were able to all 6 terrorists who were of foreign origin.
Earlier on Friday, the army foiled an attack by Pakistan's border action team on a patrol party along the line of control in Uri sector of Kashmir. 2 terrorists were killed in the operation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Intelligence agencies, meanwhile, have issued an alert about a possible terror strike by Lashkar-e-Toiba in metro cities, including Delhi and Mumbai. The agencies have reportedly said that a group of 20 to 21 Lashkar-e-Toiba operatives may have entered India from Pakistan and subsequently divided themselves into smaller groups. Following the terror alert by intelligence agencies, security has been tightened at public places in metro cities. Delhi police has been asked to ensure tight monitoring and strengthened anti-terror measures at metro and railway stations, airports and crowded areas. Police have also issued a high alert to the border areas of Punjab and Rajasthan.
स्पेशल ब्रांच का अलर्ट मिला था हमें कि कुछ संदिग्ध लोग एंट्री किए हुए हैं जो कि किसी भी जगह पर कोई भी घटना कारित कर सकते हैं. इसके संबंध में हमने कल शाम को सघन चेकिंग करवाई, जिसमें करीब 200-250 होटल्स, ढाबे इत्यादि चेक किए गए और वहां पर रहने वाले सभी लोगों को चेक किया गया, होटल मालिकों को पाबंद किया गया. इसके अलावा आने जाने वाले व्हीकल्स को चेक किया जो कि करीब 250 की संख्या में थे और उनके खिलाफ जो कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए वो कार्रवाई की गई। इसके अलावा जो हमारे बॉर्डर के थाने हैं उनको वापस से स्ट्रेंथन किया गया।
India on Saturday extended a $500 million line of credit to Mauritius after the two sides held extensive talks in New Delhi. Mauritius Prime Minister and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi renewed their commitment to strengthening mutual cooperation. The Mauritian Prime Minister is in India for a 3-day visit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Mauritian counterpart Pravin Jugnauth held extensive talks on Saturday, resolving to deepen ties in a range of areas. Of the 4 agreements signed, the one on maritime security is expected to strengthen mutual cooperation and capacities. Both sides agreed that the effective management of conventional and non-conventional threats in the Indian Ocean was essential to pursue economic opportunities.
Prime Minister Jagannath and I agree that it is our responsibility to ensure collective maritime security around our coasts and in our EEZs. We agree that effective management of conventional and non-conventional threats in the Indian Ocean is essential to pursue economic opportunities, protect the livelihood of our communities, and provide security to our people.
We have developed a strong bilateral cooperation between Mauritius and India in the field of defense and security. The acquisition of offshore patrol vessels and fast interceptor boats from India has enhanced the operational capacities of our police and of our National Coast Guard.
India has also announced a $500 million line of credit to Mauritius. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this was an example of India's commitment to the development of Mauritius. The two sides also decided to ramp up cooperation in a number of areas, including trade and investment.
The agreement today on a $500 million line of credit from India to Mauritius is a good example of our strong and continued commitment towards the development of Mauritius. It will also help in the implementation of priority projects.
Earlier, Mauritius Prime Minister Pravin Kumar Jugnauth was given a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The Prime Minister was received by Prime Minister Narendra Modi before he inspected the Tribe Services Guard of Honour. Prime Minister Jugnauth later visited Rajghat with his delegation to pay homage to Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial. The Mauritius Prime Minister also met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. The two leaders discussed ways to deepen bilateral cooperation in various areas. This is Jugnauth's first visit abroad as Prime Minister after assuming office earlier this year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday. The meeting comes significantly just a day after Nitish Kumar skipped the luncheon meeting organized by Congress President Sonia Gandhi for opposition leaders. Kumar met Modi after attending a lunch hosted by the Prime Minister for the Mauritian counterpart Pravin Jugnauth. Kumar did not attend the luncheon hosted by the Congress chief on Friday, instead deputing senior JDU leader Sharad Yadav. Sonia Gandhi, in fact, had organized the meeting, which was attended by the leaders of 17 parties as part of efforts to forge an opposition unity, particularly in the context of the upcoming presidential polls. Well, with just 2 months left for the presidential polls, BJP President Amit Shah has said that the BJP will consult opposition parties before deciding on the name of the top constitutional post. However, Shah did not say that if his party would seek to build consensus with the opposition. Shah's statement comes a day after that mega opposition meeting led by Sonia Gandhi, where leaders of 17 parties decided to select a suitable presidential nominee if the government does not find a consensus candidate.
With the presidential term of Pranab Mukherjee nearing its end in July, the countdown for the 2017 presidential election has begun. And with this has begun the process of behind-the-curtain parleys between political outfits of both the NDA camp as well as the opposition. Leaders of 17 opposition parties including Janata Dal United, CPI, CPIM, Samajwadi Party, DMK, NCP, RJD, TMC and other big and small regional parties attended a meeting on Friday called by Sonia Gandhi. The opposition leaders decided to form a committee to select a suitable presidential nominee if the government does not take the consensus route to finalize its candidate.
For presidential election, the decision is that let us wait for the consensus candidates. So let us know the names, and if it suits all of us, then everybody will support the consensus candidate.
If acceptable, consensual candidates do not emerge, then we, that means the opposition parties, shall decide to field such persons who shall steadfastly defend the constitutional values of our republic.
हमारा मकसद है कि इस पद पर संविधान की रक्षा करने वाला आदमी बैठे। चाहते हैं कि सरकारी पक्ष से ये प्रस्ताव आए, नहीं आया तो फिर हम लोग तय किया है कि फिर ये देश की जिस तरह की हालात हैं उसमें राजनीतिक लड़ाई के लिए हम लोग अपना प्रत्याशी खड़ा करेंगे।
अगर समस्त विपक्ष के साथ कोई डायलॉग करके कॉन्सेंसस की बात करेंगे तो बहुत ही वो एक अच्छा उदाहरण होगा, अच्छी परंपरा होगी। लेकिन अगर ऐसा नहीं होता है तो आप किन्हीं को राष्ट्रपति के चुनाव में पूछिएगा भी नहीं, तो उन लोगों का तो बैठे थोड़ी रहें, तो उनका भी फर्ज बनेगा कि वो अपने आपस में बातचीत करके वो कैंडिडेट तय करेंगे।
According to sources, 4 names have emerged as the top pick for the likely alliance of several non-NDA parties. These include NCP chief Sharad Pawar, Congress leader and former speaker Meena Kumar, senior JDU leader Sharad Yadav and former West Bengal governor Gopal Gandhi. On the other side, the ruling BJP has also begun the process to finalize its candidate for the top post. Earlier this week, Prime Minister held an informal meeting with his senior cabinet colleagues on this issue. While names including that of Jharkhand Governor Draupadi Murmu and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan are floating for a long time, the top BJP leadership is tight-lipped on its choice. BJP's ally Shiv Sena had earlier proposed RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's name as NDA's candidate for the country's top constitutional post. The Electoral College for the presidential polls has a total of 11,04,546 votes, with the BJP-led NDA tally currently standing at about 5.38 lakh votes. The NDA, however, is short of close to 17,000 votes to elect its own president and is banking on the support of AIA-DMK factions and other regional parties. The Jagan Mohan Reddy-led YSR Congress and TRS have pledged support to the NDA. However, BJP chief Amit Shah's recent visit to Telangana has ruffled feathers in the TRS camp. Opposition's efforts are also on to rope in Naveen Patnaik-led BJD and several regional parties from the southern states. President Pranab Mukherjee has given a clear indication that he is not considering another term in office. One of the probable candidates in the opposition camp, Sharad Pawar, is also not keen on making a bid for the top post due to the delicately placed numbers game. While the opposition acknowledges that it will be hard for their candidate to win, they claim that challenging the BJP in the presidential poll will be a testing ground for a larger alliance against the ruling party in the 2019 general elections.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was denied entry into riot-hit Shabirpur village in Saharanpur district today. He, however, met locals on the outskirts of the village and took stock of the current situation. Rahul Gandhi was accompanied by Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and UP party President Raj Babbar. UP authorities had denied permission to Rahul Gandhi to enter the district yesterday following tense law and order situation since the 25th of May in the region. 2 people were killed and over a dozen injured in the district in clashes between 2 communities.
आज के हिंदुस्तान में गरीब व्यक्ति, कमजोर व्यक्ति के लिए जगह नहीं, दलितों को कुचला जा रहा है, दबाया जा रहा है, और ये सिर्फ सहारनपुर में नहीं, ये पूरे हिंदुस्तान में किया जा रहा है।
The Election Commission has rejected the Aam Aadmi Party's allegation of backtracking from the EVM hackathon, saying that it never made any promise of holding a no-holds-barred EVM tampering challenge. The EC said that political parties taking part in the challenge must adhere to the guidelines laid down by the poll body. The Aam Aadmi Party, who did not register for the challenge until yesterday, termed the reply of the Commission as its confession. The party has objected to the rules and regulations imposed by the EC for the June 3rd event and demanded that its representative be allowed to tamper with the EVM motherboard at the challenge. The poll body, however, turned down the request, saying that EVMs would lose its originality if changes were made to its motherboard. The Sharad Pawar-led NCP and the CPIM were the only two parties to have accepted the Election Commission's challenge. Meanwhile, rebel AAP legislator Kapil Mishra made new allegations of corruption against Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Satyendra Jain on Saturday. Mishra said that Kejriwal and Jain were involved in misappropriating health funds through 3 big scams, including one of more than 300 crore rupees in the procurement of medicines. Mishra also alleged that Jain did not allow hospitals to buy medicines and instead handed over the task to a central procurement authority. The Aam Aadmi Party termed the allegations as baseless.
70% दवाइयां इस वक्त अस्पतालों में नहीं हैं। दवाइयों की लिस्ट को 800 से बढ़ाकर 1400 किया गया था, एसेंशियल ड्रग की लिस्ट को, और उनमें से 200 से 250 से ज्यादा दवाइयां इस वक्त अस्पतालों में नहीं हैं। लाइफ सेविंग ड्रग, जो जिंदगी जीने और मरने का सवाल होता है, लगभग 350 ऐसी दवाइयां सरकारी अस्पतालों में मुफ्त मिलती थी। आज 50 से ज्यादा दवाइयां किसी अस्पताल के पास नहीं है और डॉक्टरों को ये ऑर्डर है कि इन्हीं 50 दवाइयों से सारे मरीजों का इलाज किया जाए।
मैं आपको बता रहा हूं ना, आप इसका पूरा फुल एंटरटेनमेंट है, आप रोज सोप ओपेरा की तरह इसका मजा लीजिए। थैंक यू।
And now let's take you through what else made news across the country in Nationwide. The 2 accused in the Upar tragedy case have tendered their apologies in a Delhi court. This after the president of the Association of the Victims alleged that she was abused and threatened by 2 employees of the Ansal brothers in May 2007. The apex court has sentenced prime accused Gopal Ansal to 1-year jail term. At least 59 people died of asphyxia and over 100 injured after a fire broke out in the Upar Cinema Hall in 1997. The Himachal Pradesh State Assembly passed the GST bill on Saturday, which paves the way for its rollout on the 19th of July. The GST will usher in India's biggest tax overhaul since independence. The bill aims to transform India's economy into a single market. In March, Parliament had passed 4 GST bills, which included the Central GST Bill, the Integrated GST Bill, the Union Territories GST Bill, and the Compensation Law. The CBI on Saturday filed an FIR against the 4 officials of CBSE in connection with the National Eligibility Test or NET exam. The FIR has been made on the allegation that the NET this year seemed to be hanging in the balance. The complaint claims that the private firm given contract to scan the answer sheets had not been able to complete the work as yet. Reports allege that a tender of 1.03 crore rupees was given to the company despite being on CBSE records that the firm does not exist at its proper address. With that, a quick break here. Up next, we're getting you the top international stories.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Shura and you're watching Law of the Land.
It's a very good step in the sense that it will speed up the process of the inquiry and the investigation.
The broader picture is very positive. People are welcoming this move.
Taxation Laws Amendment Act 2017 is an attempt to synchronize the GST regime with the existing taxation statutes.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you international news now. And with the death toll climbing up to 100 in Sri Lanka's floods and landslides, India has rushed naval ships with relief material to the island nation. While one of the ships reached the island nation this morning, the other is expected to reach on Monday. Sri Lanka has appealed to the UN and international community for help. Heavy floods and landslides triggered by torrential rains have left nearly 100 still missing.
International help started to arrive in Sri Lanka on Saturday as the country struggles to deal with its worst floods in 14 years. An Indian Navy ship with relief material and medical supplies reached Colombo as the death toll due to floods and landslides rose exponentially. Sri Lanka has appealed to the United Nations and the international community for help. A second Indian ship is expected to reach Colombo on Monday. Incessant early seasonal rains have left Sri Lanka devastated, with 14 of the country's 25 districts affected by floods and landslides. The country's disaster management centre said more than 60,000 people have been affected by the rains, while more than 2,000 have been given temporary shelter. With heavy rainfall expected to continue, authorities have issued fresh evacuation orders for those living in low-lying areas. Soldiers have been deployed for relief and rescue operations, but there still are areas that are remote where help has been difficult to reach. Hundreds of homes have been damaged by the torrential rains and more than 90 people are still missing. 1,000 evacuation centers have been set up to help those who had to leave their homes. Mudslides are common in Sri Lanka during the monsoon season. A massive landslide in central Sri Lanka killed more than 100 people last May. But this year's flooding is believed to be the worst since May 2003, when a similarly powerful monsoon killed 250 people and destroyed 10,000 homes. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In Egypt now, at least 28 people were killed and many others injured after masked gunmen attacked a group of Coptic Christians on Friday. They were traveling to a monastery in central Egypt. Although no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, Islamic State militants have earlier targeted members of the Christian community several times in recent months. Eyewitnesses said that masked men opened fire after stopping the Christians who were in a bus and other vehicles. Meanwhile, the Egyptian military carried out several airstrikes against purported terrorist training camps in Libya. Reports said that the Egyptian warplanes carried out at least 6 airstrikes against terror camps in the eastern Libyan city of Derna. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that he had ordered the strikes against what he called terrorist camps, declaring in a televised address that states that sponsored terrorism would be punished. He further added that the strike was in retaliation to the attack on the Coptic Christians. He also appealed to world leaders, including US President Donald Trump, to fight terrorism globally.
اللي انتوا شفتوه النهارده مش هيعدي كده. المناطق اللي خرجت منها واللي بيتم التدريب فيها للعناصر ديت، وانا بكلمكم دلوقتي تم توجيه ضربه ليها جامده جدا. وبالمناسبه مصر لن تتردد ابدا في توجيه ضربات ضد معسكرات الارهاب في اي مكان.
On the second day of the G7 summit, the leaders discussed the migrant crisis. Leaders from Tunisia, Kenya, Ethiopia, Niger and Nigeria also participated in the discussions. Italy had chosen to host the G7 this year in Sicily to draw attention to Africa and the risks to migrants crossing to Europe. More than 1,500 migrants have drowned in the Mediterranean so far this year. Leaders of the group of 7 wealthy nations also pledged to fight protectionism, overcoming resistance from US President Donald Trump. The US President, however, remained isolated from the other 6 G7 nations over climate change. Trump demanded more time to decide whether to honor his country's commitments to reduce carbon emissions under the 2015 Paris Agreement. The leaders had signed a joint declaration on combating terrorism on the first day of the summit on Friday.
Argumente deutlich gemacht, dahingehend, dass wir für ein weiteres Mitmachen der Vereinigten Staaten im Klimarahmenabkommen uns einsetzen. Wir haben sehr viele Argumente vorgebracht. Ich von meiner Seite auch sehr stark, dass die Zukunft der Arbeitsplätze von...
And here are more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. UK's top counter-terrorism officer has said that a large part of the network behind the Manchester suicide bombing has been arrested. 2 more people were arrested on Saturday in a raid in Cheetham Hill. 12 locations are still being searched. A total of 13 people have been arrested so far, of which 2 were released without charges. The US House of Representatives has reintroduced a bill that seeks to amend the Immigration and Nationality Act about authorizing American PhD holding foreigners for permanent residence. The Staple Act amendment mentioned the exemption for foreigners with an American PhD in science, technology, engineering or mathematics from the numerical limitations of employment-based green cards and H-1B visas awarded annually. US President Trump had signed Buy American, Hire American order in April to introduce changes to the H-1B visa policy to protect jobs and wages of workers in the US. Staying with the US, 2 men were stabbed to death in the city of Portland on Friday. The incident took place as they tried to stop their attacker from harassing 2 women who appeared to be Muslim. The attacker has been arrested. That's all we have here in the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.